So can Aztecross's Captain America build take me through a Master Nightfall? Now, I promise I'm not trying to milk Aztecross's name over here. I really just want to test whether his builds that he has created is able to take me through certain endgame content. And I've managed to test this out successfully on a Master Lost sector. Go and check the previous video if you haven't seen it already. And so here I'll be attempting today the exact same thing but on a Master Nightfall. So like before, I'll leave a link in the description to Aztecross's video where he discusses this build in depth. Because, he's the one who created it, he knows exactly what he's talking about. I'll also leave a link in the description for those of you who want to check out my attempt on this for the Master Lost Sect. Now, for those of you who have watched either of those videos, be it Aztecross's Captain America build or my run where I tried it on the Master Lost sector, you can skip this next section and I'll put a timestamp on the screen right now for you to skip to, where I start talking about my experiences in the Master Nightfall. But for those who haven't, I will give a brief rundown of what the build is like. Now, like before, to avoid repetition, each armor piece has a resilience mod. So for the helmet, I'm using double hands-on mod. For the arms, I'm using an auto rifle loader, unstoppable scout rifle, and melee wellmaker. For the chest piece, I'm using double armor of the dying stars and bountiful wells. For the legs, I'm using Linear Fusion Scavenger and Well of Tenacity. And for the class item, I'm using 1-2 Finisher, Outreach, and another Melee Wellmaker mod. As for the weapons, I'm using Monte Carlo, Trusty, and Storm Chaser. Overall, I had loads of fun testing this build out when I first attempted it on the Master Lost sector. And I can say the same for this Master Nightfall, although there was some missteps, minor missteps at that almost cost me the entire run. There were none so that I couldn't backpedal slightly and then secure the run later on. So I can confidently say that I actually managed to complete this Master Nightfall on my first try. Unlike my Master Lost sector where I got killed and then I got DC'd from the game. So I started off the Master Nightfall, moved through the tunnel sections which surprisingly had no enemies until I encountered the respawn restricted section. Oh, also, I have to mention here that I actually did not die, so this was a flawless run. However, it did take slightly longer than I thought. Anyways, moving through the tunnel, I saw multiple legionaries, and I took the time to dispatch them quickly with the shield throw and Monte Carlo to refresh my shield. There I encountered one of the most annoying champions because, it was at range and, since I'm playing flawless, I don't want to just jump across and let him slap me into the wall or what have you. So I decided to pick him off from a distance. But because he's a barrier champion, I had to leverage the fact of my shield throw. After clearing most of the ads, I just moved over and dispatched of him quickly. The hallways with multiple hitless Vex are very straightforward. Just throw a single shield throw and the void detonations will take care of everything for you. You see the boss and he quickly slams the plate. Well, I got out of the way, no worries about that. And then multiple unstoppable champions spawn. Now, this could pose a problem because any unstoppable champion, especially in numbers, will be able to, chain their knockback and slam you against the wall really fast, and you will just die. So, because I don't want to repeat what happened in my Master Lost sector run, I backpedaled a little bit, stunned them, and dispatched them. Easy. Now, next I moved forward and, I got through the part where you had to dunk those arc charges. Now this part was relatively simple. There were a mix of barrier and unstoppable champions. So anyways, I took down those unstoppable champions. And then I took out the barrier champions because the unstoppable champions would be able to body block the shield throw. And that would be very annoying since I've gone to great lengths and details to actually explain how much of a pain it was in a Master Lost sector. And the Master Lost sector had fewer ads. So I was not taking my chances here. I moved forward, dispatched of them, and went onwards. So I went down to 2 wells at that, and I met more hitless Vex, killed them, and moved on. Now we arrive at the boss fight. So I stand on the plate and get it charged halfway, and certain ads will spawn. I will mention why these ads are really annoying later in the second half of the boss fight. But for now, I cleared the ads relatively easily and spawned the boss. For the most part of the first half of the boss fight, it was relatively straightforward. I ran around using my Storm Chaser to melt Kargan's health down because, since I'm only using a heavy weapon and 2 primary weapons, the enemies are bound to give me heavy ammo sometime in the future, even if it's not now. And yes, later I did get more heavy, so it didn't really matter how much I wasted based on inaccuracies and missing, so that's all fine. After the first half of the boss fight, though, it became a bit of a problem, and I'll show you why right now. So, for the second half of the boss fight, when you're standing on any of the 3 plates, usually what will spawn is a bunch of dogs, gladiators, incinerators, and legionaries. Now, the legionaries and dogs are pretty straightforward, but the incinerators and the gladiators are really annoying, because incinerators can knock you back, and they spawn in pairs, or maybe sometimes alone, I don't really remember, but gladiators definitely spawn in pairs, and they will run up to you and try and kick you off the plate by chopping you. And one thing I did notice was the fact that my health regeneration was significantly impaired. But fortunately for the build that I didn't really pour too much time to test, because you know, I was just copying a build Aztecross made, well, the build actually lets you regenerate your health when you hit enemies with a shield throw. It gives you the bit of the void over shield, and it regenerates your health, or rather starts health regeneration. And that is so good and efficient, because if I didn't have that, I'm pretty sure I would die if I had just had to rely on my Ward of Dawn to regenerate my health. And then this comes to the part where it became the most long and drawn out process of this entire strike. Why do I say so? Well, each time I was interrupted by the gladiator, I had to step off or risk dying. And when I stepped back on, they would respawn the same amount, if not more adds. So at this point, I spent over 10 freaking minutes just clearing adds. It was so much time that they actually said the darkness had consumed you, and it started, you know, my points started to decay. That was so annoying, because you have to remember, with 2 primaries and a heavy just for damage, I didn't really have many ad clearing capabilities on my own. I had a suppressor grenade and a shield throw which could clear ads, but I felt that maybe suppressor grenades could have been swapped out for something like vortex grenades at this point in time. Or if any other weapon like Witherhorde were to be used, I would definitely have an easier time with ad clear, but I couldn't use that because I was using this build. Anyways, my complaint aside, after the ads, which took so long to clear, the boss was more or less a joke. Why do I say so? Because within 3 minutes after all the ads were cleared, and mind you, I wasn't spending all of the time focused on the boss, he died. Yes, within 3 minutes I downed the rest of his health. That was what I mean by this boss is not exactly difficult at all. It was just the sheer number of ads with no real ad clear ability that brought this run to a standstill for 10 minutes. Fortunately, with all that said and done, I was able to complete this Master Nightfall solo flawlessly with Aztecross's Captain America build on my first try. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I've actually started to realize that maybe I should add a little bit more expression, because I genuinely find enjoyment in doing these runs, so I should be a bit more expressive, because I realized that if I was going to use a dull, monotonous tone, people would more or less be turned off or bored with what they're watching. So, you know, I decided maybe it's fun to be a bit more expressive, and to me it's really entertaining anyways, so why not? Now, for those of you who enjoyed this style of content where you see me review and test out the practicality of other content creators' builds, feel free to suggest to me in the comments below what you would like me to test out and what you would like to see. I'm open to any suggestions, so leave it in the comment section below and I will test it out. Do be mindful that I don't really read comments every day, so I may be a bit slow in responding to certain comments, because I'm also thinking of my own video ideas. In any case, I'll leave the suggestions open to you guys. Whatever you would like to see, just let me know in the comments down below. Anyways, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.